USC is holding workshops for faculty to prepare for online teaching. We have more on this 3-day drill starting Wednesday.
More than 20 colleges are moving classes to virtual ones. We talked to students from University of Washington, Columbia, and Princeton about their concerns.
The crowd went wild for USC senior guard Jonah Matthews' winning shot against UCLA. What this means for the Pac-12 tournament and beyond coming up.
Annenberg TV News is next.
Live from USC, you're watching Annenberg TV News.
We decided to cancel about a week ago, and not due to the fear of getting the coronavirus, but the fear of being isolated in this country or being quarantined in the country or facing border closures.
Some USC students have to cancel travel plans as COVID-19 continues to spread. Good evening, I'm Nicola Wenz.
And I'm Caleb Michael. 2 new cases are confirmed in Los Angeles County. According to the LA County Health Department, 1 person traveled to Japan. Now, the source for the exposure is still unknown, but authorities say this could be the first case of community transmission in LA County. Both people are in isolation and will be quarantined for 14 days. Earlier today, the Grand Princess cruise ship arrived at the port of Oakland. At least 21 people on board tested positive for COVID-19, including 2 passengers and 19 crew members. According to authorities, all passengers will go through a 14-day quarantine in various locations.
USC is taking measures to deal with the rapidly spreading coronavirus. Starting Wednesday, all lecture classes will be online for 3 days. As a sort of drill, and our reporter Sarah Martin is live on campus to tell us more. Sarah?
Thanks, Nicola. That's right. Students were informed in an email on Friday evening that campus will be holding classes starting Wednesday, March 11th. As stated in the email, the university is still fully functioning, but they want to make sure that the proper precautions are put in place just in case coronavirus starts affecting life on campus.
I didn't even know what it was, and even in the message that was sent out, it was real unclear about what it is, how to use it, how do we access it, do we need to log in, so yeah, I think the communication could have been a little better, maybe had some instructions.
I feel like we could do a little bit more, just informing us of what exactly it is and how we use it. They've just informed us that we're using Zoom for online classes, really haven't gone into depth about it. I think there could be a little bit more communication.
USC professors are taking time to learn how to maximize teaching through Zoom video conferencing. These Zoom workshops were hosted by the director of the online learning, Neil Teixeira. Zoom will allow students to access online lectures remotely in an effort to promote the safety and well-being of students, faculty, and staff. You can access your online Zoom account through usc.zoom.us, select sign in, and the sign in page will redirect you to the USC page. Enter your USC email and password, and then click login to access your Zoom profile. At this time, the deans of each school are in communication, and Dean Willow Bay of Annenberg School will be holding 2 information sessions, one on Tuesday and one on Wednesday, to discuss coronavirus and the effects it's having on campus. Thanks, guys, and back to you at the desk.
Thank you, Sarah. Many midterm exams are moving from in-person to online, and while they may be the test run for USC, there are some concerns surrounding the academic integrity.
What we're really asking for is some flexibility and understanding in this period while we really try and find out what it's conceivable to do and what is realistic. So really just follow the instructions of your professor when it comes to midterm exams. He or she will be thinking very carefully about how to mitigate any problems with academic dishonesty and academic integrity.
If people are doing their midterms online, and at home, they have the opportunity to be able to cheat. And if you're one of the people who doesn't cheat when everyone else does, your grade will be negatively impacted because of it, because of curves.
So for my professor, the psychology one, she emailed us the day after and she told us that, hey, the test is going to be randomized, so don't try to go with your friends because you're just going to waste your time since it's timed anyways. For biology, the professor was like, hey, it is going to be online, we're just going to base it on the honor system, please just don't cheat.
Some professors are moving their midterms to after spring break. It is still, however, unclear if classes will be affected when students return. Almost all lectures are canceled, and students will be notified that if they still need to attend all lab sessions.
Ahead of next week's spring break, USC health officials strongly advise against all international travel. For many students, this sudden change means canceling flights and hoping for a refund, while others are choosing to continue as planned.
We decided to cancel about a week ago, and not due to the fear of getting the coronavirus, but the fear of being isolated in this country or being quarantined in the country or facing border closures. So we still have all of our hotels and flights, but we just simply aren't going.
I do have some concerns. My parents are definitely more concerned than I am, more about the quarantine situation than actually getting coronavirus itself. So hopefully I won't get stuck in Mexico or anything like that.
USC plans to have travelers from level 3 countries complete a health screening process and or self-isolate for 14 days before returning to campus for the safety and well-being of everyone. USC Chief Health Officer Sarah Van Orman wants students to understand what's at stake before making the decision to travel abroad.
We have seen entry restrictions placed on individuals. We've had public health restrictions placed on any individuals. So it's really important for students to understand that if they do choose to travel, particularly internationally, one, they might be exposing themselves to the risk of the infection as they travel, but also if there are those kinds of restrictions placed on them with re-entry or with public health, there's really nothing we can do to support them. If an individual has close contact with anyone with COVID-19, they might be required to self-isolate under a public health order.
USC is not alone in preparing for online classes. As of Monday morning, more than 20 colleges have canceled classes in person amid the coronavirus outbreak. The University of Washington was the first to announce the canceled classes last Friday.
In terms of what students are talking about, it's very much a mixture of frustration that everything is now online, especially for students who have labs. But also I think a lot of relief that students feel like they're not required to go to class, especially for those who are in contact with vulnerable populations or who are vulnerable themselves.
Students at Columbia University in New York, which has a student under quarantine after exposure, and those at Stanford, which has a confirmed case, share some confusion about the shift to online classes.
The whole campus climate has totally changed over the last week. It's been eerie, right? There has been a lot of people who have just left altogether, and so and I think the people who are still on campus are not exactly rushing out to all hang out with each other.
I'm not happy about this at all. I don't think that I'll have the motivation to actually go online and do classes. I think I'll be super bored at home.
It's pretty annoying. It's this is one of our semesters of college, specifically the seniors I've spoken to. It's their last semester, and what are they supposed to go home? Are they supposed to I don't know. It's hard to go from going to college in New York to going back to wherever you came from.
Even colleges without suspected or confirmed cases are taking precautionary measures using online classes to avoid a possible outbreak. Now, as mentioned earlier, USC will begin its test run for online courses this week, beginning on Wednesday.
A new study by Cedars-Sinai found that the number of people infected by COVID-19 that was originally reported is false. As of March 1st, more than 9,000 people may have already been infected, but some reports say there were only about 500 cases. Now, these numbers are calculated based on 3 factors: the air traffic data between Wuhan, China, and the U.S., the total number of confirmed cases that are publicly released by the CDC, and the transmission dynamics estimated from previous research about the virus.
The CDC says that the 5 states that are reported with the most people infected are Washington with 136 cases, California at 124, New York 105, Massachusetts 28, and Oregon with 14. So far, 21 people have died from the virus in the U.S., of which 18 are in Washington state, 1 in California, and 2 in Florida. Globally, there are more than 114,000 confirmed cases and more than 4,000 deaths. In Israel, anyone returning from abroad is ordered into a 2-week quarantine. Italy recently imposed a nationwide restriction, quarantining up to 16 million people. Those wanting to travel will need special permission. And in Spain, Madrid and 2 other cities are closing all schools due to the virus.
Community and union leaders today acknowledge the fears of many immigrants as coronavirus continues to spread.
the safest place to go is often the community health center. It's smaller, there's less sick people there, and that is where you should absolutely go first. The clinics, the community health centers will see folks regardless of their ability to pay, regardless of their documentation status, regardless of their immigration status.
Representatives from many groups expressed that health and wellness should be the #1 concern regardless of immigration status. Now clinics are prepared to see patients who do not have insurance or documentation.
Here at the county hospital and at other Department of Health Services facilities in Los Angeles, we provide care to anybody regardless of their citizenship status and regardless of their insurance status too. So if they're to the point where they have any concerns regarding their health, then they should definitely seek care.
Immigrants are encouraged not to panic and to seek medical attention if they experience symptoms.
The stock market took another major dive. We talked to an expert about the biggest plunge in 30 years.
An investigative journalist wins the Selden Ring Award. We have more on her work in economic justice coming up.
And after 2 years of waiting, Westworld is back. We'll take you to the premiere and hear more from the cast and crew. Stay tuned.
I don't want to talk about it.
I don't want to talk about it.
Families don't have to talk about everything, but they should talk about how to plan for an emergency. Get tips and resources to make your family's emergency plan.
Your girls have been with you through every moment of your life. They were with you when you felt unbreakable, and with you when you had your heart broken. They were with you when you shared your love with the world, and with you when she became your world. They're still with you right now. But how well do you know them?
When I first saw a turtle, my heart was full. Now anything but lonely.
We had this deep connection, this heart connection.
He just wants to be close to you and part of your life.
Every day with Turtle is a perfect day.
When I'm holding her, it makes me feel calmer.
I think everything he does shows how much he loves us.
When we adopt a shelter pet, we discover they're a little bit of a lot of things.
But they're all pure love.
While hand sanitizer and face masks are flying off the shelves, people are canceling travel plans and public outings.
Our political anchor Ella Katz says more on how this global anxiety is impacting the economy. Ella?
Thanks, Nicola. The stock market today saw its biggest plunge since the financial crisis of 2008. Coronavirus is turning into a global crisis from Wuhan to Wall Street. COVID-19 is disrupting the supply chain and changing normal consumer habits. The S&P 500, an index that measures the stock performance of dominant companies, has dropped more than 7% since the morning. But the company Clorox is one of a few stocks that went up as people are preventively stocking up on household items and sanitary basics.
I think there really is serious concern about economic consequences of the virus concern. It is very speculative at this point as to how much it's going to stay down and how long it's going to stay down as a result of that. But I think it's going to change. It's temporary, and therefore I don't see that there should be any tremendous action to deal with that about it.
As officials gear up for the 2020 election, COVID-19 in the stock market could become a hot-button issue. The White House is meeting with Wall Street executives to discuss next steps on Wednesday. Back to you, Caleb.
Thank you, Ella. Now, for the past 30 years, USC has honored outstanding work in investigative journalism with the annual Selden Ring Award. This year, the award went to Wendy Thomas, recognizing her story about medical injustice in Memphis.
When I was reporting on this story about Methodist Hospital in Memphis suing thousands of patients, I never thought that I would win the Selden Ring Award. That's incredible. And journalists don't do this kind of work for awards, but it's really nice to be recognized.
Thomas's award-winning work uncovered a predatory healthcare debt scheme made by major hospitals in Memphis. Her reporting has helped to raise $12 million in debt for more than 5,000 defendants. That's an awesome story, Nicola.
That is incredible. Imagine coming up with something like that.
That's a lot of money. It's a lot of money.
That is a lot of money, but it's a good day.
Why is it a good day?
Because I heard it's going to rain.
I moved away from the rain, but Monica, is it really going to rain?
It is in fact going to rain quite a bit this upcoming week, Nicola and Caleb. So good news for Nicola, not so good news for you, Caleb. But yeah, we had beautiful weather the last couple of weeks in Southern California, lots of sunshine, but we're going to start to see things cool down, have the weather change up a little bit. But we had a nice day today on campus, 73 degrees currently. Last day of that sunshine, those 70-degree temperatures, because we're going to start, like I said, to see things change up a little bit. And as we head into tomorrow, we're going to see things cool down a bit. We're not gonna hit the 70s anymore for tomorrow, but we're gonna stay in the mid to high 60s, so not too bad. But if we head into the mountains and the Inland Empire, we're gonna see temperatures in Big Bear at 49 degrees tomorrow, Palm Springs 64 degrees, San Bernardino 65 degrees, and Riverside 65 as well. So like I said, those mid to high 60s. Now if we head towards the coast and towards the valley, we're gonna see temperatures in Northridge and San Fernando at 62 degrees tomorrow, Thousand Oaks and Malibu about the same, 60 and 61. Rain in all of these places predicted for tomorrow, so make sure you bring an umbrella and watch out for that, because it's going to be a wet day. Now if we head back down towards USC and towards campus, we're going to see temperatures tomorrow on campus at 65 degrees, LAX 66 degrees, Long Beach 63, Pasadena at 62, Pomona at 63, and Anaheim at 66. So like I said, these mid to high 60-degree temperatures all day tomorrow. Now if we look into the rest of the week, and the rest of the forecast, Friday we're going to see temperatures at 65 degrees and low 58 degrees, lots of rain. Saturday we're going to see 69 degrees and 54 degrees. Not quite as much rain, but still lots of heavy showers. Sunday we're going to see those same type of showers, high of 70, low of 59. Monday we're going to start to see things lighten up a bit, 65 degrees, low of 58, and Tuesday about the same as Monday, high of 64 and low 65 degrees. Now with all this rain in the forecast, we're likely to see lots of students taking Ubers and Lyfts, but a recent study shows that the rides are actually contributing to a large amount of pollution in the air. And the majority of this increased pollution is coming from deadheading, or the time spent by drivers cruising the streets waiting for a ride request. Now additionally, many people choose rideshare services over low carbon options like riding a bike or taking public transportation. Now if you take all of these things into consideration, rideshare trips are almost 70% more polluting than the rides they replaced. Now we talked to an environmental expert to hear his thoughts on the issue and how students can make a difference.
Whenever possible, choose a greener option. I don't think we're asking you to give up cars, to give up the ability to take a ride in an Uber or a Lyft, but ask yourself, is it easier and perhaps just a little greener to use a bike, a scooter, a skateboard, or heaven forbid, walk it?
The California Air Resources Board are now developing rideshare regulations, which are planned to go into effect in 2023.
This is a perfect example of why I scooter everywhere.
You do scooter. You're green. Go green.
Thanks, Monica.
Thank you, Monica. Well, on to other news. Fans of HBO's Westworld are awaiting the release of the series' third season, and our Annenberg Media's Brandon Rao has the inside scoop after going to the premiere.
As the trailer for its third season shows, Westworld will look a lot different when the science fiction series returns next week. This season promises to show more of the world beyond the Wild West theme park that served as the main location for the first two seasons.
The thing that as a writer always motivates me is that sort of organic nature of the character's growth is something that you want to capture and keep exploring, and it pulled us inexorably into a new world.
The red carpet was decorated in Westworld's typical futuristic fashion. Former Westworld star Clifton Collins Jr. joined continuing stars Luke Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson on the carpet. They both helped welcome new cast members like Scott Muscudi in celebration of the Season 3 premiere.
Nearly 2 years after the second season finale, HBO's Westworld is back. I'm here on Hollywood Boulevard for the third season premiere. The third season is going to feature an all-new set of cast members, including Aaron Paul of Breaking Bad fame.
Paul will portray a construction worker who, by the looks of the trailer, will be spending a lot of time with Evan Rachel Wood's Dolores this season. Most cast members are tight-lipped about the upcoming season.
Nothing.
Nothing at all.
I know nothing, and it's a big mystery.
Other cast members were more open to teasing their roles. John Gallagher Jr. joins this season as the leader of a tech company and can briefly be seen in the first trailer for the season.
kind of like a morally compromised Bruce Wayne figure who is basically inherited a big giant tech company from his father, and he's kind of wrestling with facing accountability and responsibility for this giant tech company that he oversees for perhaps the first time in his life.
The first episode of Season 3 of Westworld will be available to all HBO subscribers beginning Sunday, March 15th. For Annenberg Media, I'm Brandon Rao.
That looks so good.
It did look good, but it was a wild weekend in sports, specifically USC. Talk to us.
Yes, if you weren't there, you definitely missed out. Coming up in sports, the Trojans had an exciting weekend. USC basketball had a crazy ending against the Bruins on Saturday. Trojan baseball showing real signs of success with a great showing at the Southern California College Baseball Classic. And the Lakers beat the Clippers this weekend to win the battle for LA.
Davis runs down.
This afternoon, the NBA, NHL, MLB, and MLS all announced they would restrict access to locker rooms to prevent players from obtaining the coronavirus. The USC men's basketball team had their senior day this weekend against UCLA, and they sure didn't disappoint the home crowd. USC was down by 1 point with 9 seconds left in the game. Let's take a look at how that ended.
Matthews on the high screen, step back. Matthews knows it! 1 second. Bruins have another chance. Hawkeyes lead. Jonah Matthews is a March hero.
Jonah Matthews' game-winning shot stunned rivals UCLA and made the Galen Center crowd go absolutely wild. It was truly a game to remember for Matthews, who led the Trojans with 19 points and went 5 for 9 from the three-point line. Speaking of Matthews hitting three-pointers in Saturday's game, he set the record for most threes in USC Trojan history. He passed Elijah Stewart's record with 245 threes, setting a new record at 246. Here's what Matthews had to say after getting his name written into history.
You can only dream it. I dreamed of it last night. I was just thinking to myself and falling to bed, just what if I was gonna end it this way? What if I break the record? And it happened to happen. So I guess if you dream it, it can happen.
With this win, USC burst the bubble and are now in the NCAA tournament. But Matthews and the Trojans are still looking to make a statement in the Pac-12 tournament this weekend. USC clinched a first-round bye and secured the number 4 seed.
That's right, Liz. USC will play in the second round on Thursday. And taking a look at this bracket that is not behind me yet, but USC is going to either take on the number 12 seed Washington or the number 5 seed Arizona. And so depending on who wins out of these teams, will take on USC in the second round. The Trojans had a win and a loss to both the Huskies and the Wildcats this season. But the toughest matchup for the Trojans will definitely be Oregon if they meet the Ducks in the semifinals. Oregon's is the Pac-12 leader and handed SC 2 losses this season.
Yeah, I think the Trojans have looked really good in their last few games and will be able to easily defeat Washington or Arizona, especially since they defeated them both in their last meetings together. It's the semifinals against Oregon that I think USC should be worried about. As of now, the NCAA tournament will still be happening at all locations with fans, but the league is closely monitoring the coronavirus situation. And USC basketball wasn't the only team that had an exciting weekend. USC baseball defeated defending NCAA champion Vanderbilt and number 2 TCU in the Southern California College Baseball Classic. And even though they were routed by rival UCLA on Sunday, the wins against the Commodores and the Horned Frogs really showed that their program is on the upswing.
We're facing the top, number 2 team in the country. They have a pretty good pitching staff. We're trying to come out and earn respect, and I think hopefully we earn Vanderbilt's respect, and hopefully we're opening up some eyes.
The Trojans will play a midweek game against Xavier tomorrow before kicking off Pac-12 action against Washington this weekend.
And Liz, it's official. The Lakers run LA. After losing their first 2 matchups against the Clippers, the Lakers knew falling 0-3 to their rival would affect their playoff viability and came out strong in a 112-103 win.
The Clippers led at half, but the pairing of LeBron James and Anthony Davis was too strong. They combined for 50 points and held the Clippers to only 39.5% shooting from the field. The Lakers now have a 49-13 record and remain number 1 in the Western Conference and take on the Brooklyn Nets tomorrow at Staples Center. Back to you guys at the desk.
Prince Harry and Meghan made their final official engagement announcement today.
We'll be right back.
Try and avoid sneezing into your hand because you just contaminate them and then spread those germs everywhere. Focus on sneezing into your elbow, like this, and then you don't contaminate your hands. Turn on the water, wet your hands, apply a good amount of soap and lather up, and then focus on washing your hands for about 20 seconds, about the time it takes to sing Happy Birthday twice. Focus on washing the front of your hands, the back, in between the fingers, around the nails, and so on. And then rinse everything off. Use something to wipe your hands after that, preferably something disposable like a paper towel, and then use that to turn off the tap as well. If you get a chance, use that to also open the door to the bathroom as you're leaving. The best way to wash your hands is using running water and soap, but sometimes we don't have that available. So think about carrying with you a hand sanitizer. That should have at least 60% alcohol content.
For more information, visit www.cdc.gov or call 1-800-CDC-INFO.
Sadness. Difficulty concentrating. Loss of interest. Depression can be treated. The first step is talking.
Prince Harry and wife Meghan attended their final events today as senior members of the royal family. Now, for the first time since announcing their departure, the couple was seen alongside Queen and other family members at the annual Commonwealth service in Westminster Abbey. Prince Harry and Meghan will officially step down on March 31st and begin a new independent life in Canada.
Krispy Kreme is going green for St. Patrick's Day.
Now, the entire Krispy Kreme menu will be filled with greenified donuts from March 14th to March 17th.
The menu includes cake batter with green icing with St. Patrick's Day sprinkles and Oreo cookies and cream with green icing drizzle. There's also a donut which looks like a pot of gold filled with Irish cream.
Now that sounds
great.
Good. That sounds really good.
Definitely take a trip to the gym before and after that.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching Annenberg TV News. From everyone here at Annenberg Media, I'm Nicola Wenz.
And I'm Caleb Michael. For more coverage, download Annie, the Annenberg app, and watch us at uscannenbergmedia.com. Good night.